Eunice, what does to haver mean?
To talk a lot of nonsense.
To talk a load of talk a load of crap.
Yeah, like you do.
Not you mean not me? No, Eric Ozee, like what Eric Ozee says.
No,
no, not me.
No, you. Freaking love Eunice. That's Eunice on the right, everybody, by the way.
How do you pay a debt for someone you owe 36 million? You don't. It might as well be a billion. Oh, this is what you do. You charge the one you owe with murder. The debt goes to. Now first, you gotta have a body. I don't know how you get it, but I know it is naughty. Find that car that body drove. Park the car in the yard, throw the body in the stove. Now this part, overemphasize I can. You got to have law enforcement that likes to plan. Oh, I mean not botany, talking bones. You pay a bill for someone you owe 36 million. You don't, it might as well be a bajillion. Oh, this is what you do. You charge the one you owe with murder. The debt goes to.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Now you cook that body up, all well done. Just leave some pieces out for identification. Like the tibia, he's at 23. Oh wait,
Some of you ain't following me.
but this brings me to the important part of the scheme. You got to own the lab and forensics team. Pick one out. The dullest knife, get her the deviate the protocol for time in her life. How do you pay a bill for someone you owe 36 million?
You don't. It might as well be a gajillion.
Oh, this is what you do. You charge the one you owe with murder. The debt goes to. Detail. It would take too long. This would end up being a 10-part docu-song. So I'll just give it to you. Go in point form. Do all these things and you can toot your horn. You first have to get a kid to confess to the story you feed them. Block all the officers from following evidence where it leads them. Tell the media things that don't make sense. Don't worry, they don't ask questions. They just nod their heads. You gotta lock the corner from the scene. You got to beware now, dogs that are mean. Lose all the cameras, don't take a shot. Multi-label everything you got. You gotta keep all the evidence locked up safe. If anything gets broken, fix it with Scotch tape. Repeat. The soldier intertwined.
Hey, Stacy, seriously, dude, think about doing the 10-part docu-song, because
yeah,
I freaking would love it.
This is what you do.
You charge the one you owe with murder. The debt goes to.
Now say you get away with all this stuff, but 10 years later you just don't have enough. Go write a book, try to cash in, don't worry about the ethics.
There's none in Wisconsin.
Cause if there are, you would have been jailed and sued from all the domestic violence victims that you abuse. How do you pay a bill for someone you owe 36 million? You don't. It might as
I wish
well
you would have
be
worked legal stain into this one.
Oh,
Oh, dude, love that term.
You did.
I love that term.
It's a man and his nephew kid.
Good
All
evening.
right, that is Mr. Stacy Seabrook. And so what you're all looking at right now is a picture that Mr. Capaldi here took of him and his lovely wife Eunice and Mark. Mark was there in Galashiels with Paul yesterday, but he's now on a train and he can't really talk to us much, but you can see him there. He's here with us in spirit, if nothing else. So
Oh, he's certainly full of spirit.
How many different spirits is he full of?
Well, when he said about the fact that he had to go to all those pubs to try and find me, there's an element of truth in that. We did have a little pub crawl around Gala, I must admit.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, we did.
I think I have those pictures too. So
yes, Mark took some. I've got some. Yeah, I've got pictures inside one of our greatest pubs in Scotland. It's up for sale at the moment. It is the cheapest pub in Scotland for sale. It's going for £30,000.
oh,
That's
wow.
all, and it's the whole pub.
Yeah, is it like was it a dive?
Well, it is and it isn't. Its location is in a back street, but it's right opposite two nightclubs. So it gets busy on a Saturday night, but it's quiet the rest of the time. But honestly, you have some great nights in the Glue Pot. It's a real mix of people that go there, and it's not unusual. And it's not unusual to meet Antipodeans in there either. We've met Aussies and New Zealanders in there before. Myself and we always take people to the Glue Pot because it is somewhere to see in Gala. It is, as you say, it looks like it's a bit of a dive, but it's not that bad.
I will say it seems like there does seem to be a lot of travel that goes between like Australia, New Zealand, and like the UK. Because I got a friend who lives in New Zealand too, and he grew up in the UK and all that, but he ended up in New Zealand. It's like it just for whatever reason there just seems to me to be a lot of, even though they're so freaking far apart, but they seem to
absolutely, and not just the UK but Ireland as well, as in Southern Ireland,
right?
Northern Ireland is part of the UK, but Southern Ireland is very much part of that.
All right,
that whole couple of islands that make up Great Britain, UK, and Ireland.
All right, I'm gonna share a picture of you guys at the pub now.
All right.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
That was weird. Why did it do that?
Wow.
Wait, stop that. That was weird. Why did it do that for?
Huh.
Oh, wait, that's what I'm doing wrong. Stop. Picking the wrong one.
Oh.
That one. There they are.
That's right. Yes.
So
that was a selfie in the Glue Pot. Yeah, when you come to Scotland and Ireland and Wales and all these other places in the UK to visit all your fans, then we'll take you to the Glue Pot. I was explaining to Mark, of course, that the place that you want to go most in the UK is Cardiff.
Oh yeah, well,
because of
maybe.
the
We'll
Doctor Who
see
museum.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if Julie Pom Pom's son ends up convincing me that I should give Doctor Who another chance.
Oh, all right. Oh dear.
Hey, look, dude, I'm worried about that over there, man. It seems like maybe now they're just getting to the point of trying to try the most outrageous, gimmicky stuff to maintain interest. I don't know. I'm just worried about the future of the show. And
yeah, I think when my namesake, and people do often call me Peter, when my namesake was the Doctor, apparently it was very good. And then I sorry to offend all your female listeners, but they then decided to have a female Doctor Who. Now Now, normally an episode,
All right.
an episode of Doctor Who lasts 30 minutes, but the first episode with this lady Doctor Who took an hour. And do you know why that was?
Why is that?
Because it took her so long to park the TARDIS.
She couldn't parallel park the TARDIS.
No. So I've just offended all your female listeners.
So we've got Captain Crunch here today. How you doing, Captain?
I'm sure he's doing fine. Slightly hungover, but I'm sure he's doing fine.
Paul is a Scotsman, but he isn't Scottish. Is them fighting words? Them's fighting words.
It's like, how do you define nationality of somebody? I was born in England, but I was born in London. In fact, I was born in Surrey, in Surbiton. But I mean, you know, with the name Capaldi, there's some Italian. My granddad has some Welsh in him. My granny on my dad's side was a Cockney Irish. I'm now living in Scotland, so I qualify on residency rules. I'm about 5 or 6 different countries all mixed into one. You know, which is why we have so much difficulty trying to pinpoint. You know what Mr. Crunch is.
Yeah, definitely. We got a whole page for Captain Crunch now over at Discord.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. There's 2 items there's 2 parts of your Discord channel that I tend to go to: the Captain Crunch to see what the latest rubbish that Falcon is writing. But,
yeah.
Getting to the serious
Did
question.
you see last night, Paul? You should see the live from last night. Your good friend Thomas Henry.
I was watching it. Yeah. We were watching that just a while back, you know, and very, very restrained, very restrained. He's, you know, some of the guilters they do accept that the evidence against Steve is questionable, and they should do, because even Sheriff Herman, when he was the sheriff there, when I spoke to him about it, you know, and said, would you want to be, Stephen, convicted on that questionable evidence? And he couldn't really argue against me, you know, and deny that it's questionable. Well, if it's questionable, then there needs to be a retrial, and in any civilized country.
Said that last night in the live chat. He was like, Brendan and Stephen or Brendan didn't get fair trials. It's like, then why are you arguing with me, Thomas? I'm saying he deserves a new trial. You just said he didn't get a fair one. Mm-hmm. What the flip are we arguing about?
Well, yeah, because it's like, do they think that by trying to browbeat you, me, and everybody else, somehow that's going to affect Kathleen Zellner? Are they giving us that much credit that, oh well, if we were to start saying, oh, there's a chance that he's guilty, then all of a sudden Kathleen Zellner's going to stop? It's just a crazy point of view that they're coming from. As I've said before, you know, stop haranguing us. Stop speaking to us. We don't need to speak to you. This case has gone so far down the road that the guilters now are completely and utterly irrelevant. They're just doing it because they like the attention.
And I'd say we are literally barely a blip. Even like me or the other YouTubers and even some of the big Redditors, I'd say we're barely a blip on Zellner's radar. I don't think she really is paying all that much attention at all. So yeah, for them to be trying to, you know, come after us and tell us why it's all wrong. Yeah. We know that this is a crap investigation, absolutely crap, almost everything about it. And as time goes by, more and more stuff that comes out, making the state look shady, making the state look like they were being dishonest, making the state look like they were doing things wrong. And nothing's really coming out that's really like a smoking gun that points at Stephen in any way. Everything is always, pretty much everything that continues to come out is another violation of Stephen's, you know, constitutional rights, or another you know, dishonest statement by the state or agents of the state, or, you know, just on and on and on. And that's the way it is. It's not the other way around. And so, you know, after a while, when you see a trend like that, you know, it's hard to believe that trend is going to suddenly turn around. Suppose maybe it could, but to me, I feel like this trend is just going to continue to roll downhill and play out in the state looking like the complete bunch of schmucks that they are.
Well, yeah. Well, I've got a question, and it's one that a lot of people.
Okay.
Ask.
By the way, you've now made the chat. The chat's all about women talking about how they can parallel park by now. That's it. That's all we got, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe they can talk about it, but can they actually do it?
Oh yeah. Here we go. Things even more.
Look. I'll be honest. Eunice is a fully qualified driver. She's better qualified than I am. She's actually qualified to drive big 50-seater coaches.
Wow.
But there's many a time when it comes to parking that I'll say, do you want me to do it? And she'll just jump out and let me take over. Yeah. But no, anyway, getting back to the serious issue.
Eunice is a good woman, and she feeds your ego. So,
yeah,
we'll just chalk it up to.
Okay. Okay. Here's the question. A lot of people think that it might be possible for Steve to just simply be released, and that isn't gonna that cannot happen. Even if everybody wanted it to happen, they've still got to go to a judge, and the judge has to throw out the case, doesn't he? Like they did in 2003. It's up to legal representatives of the state to go to the judge and say, look, this conviction cannot stand. It's wrongful, But right. The other question that people ask is, well, will there even be a retrial? And I would first of all point out that immediately after
the evidence that there is against Stephen, honestly, I can't. Yeah, there's gonna be. If anything, there's gonna be. I can't see it skipping a retrial, and I can't see the state. I can't see the state choosing not to retry him.
Right. Okay. Because certainly after Making a Murderer #1 came out, I don't know how many people have seen this, but there was an interview with Brad Schimmel, and he talks about the fact that he has been in touch with the Holbachs and assured them that if it needs to go to a retrial, he will do that.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, the state are
right. They're all in. They're all in. They've pushed all their chips into the middle of the table, dude. They're all in.
Yeah, yeah. But how can they have a retrial when every single piece of their evidence has been what's the word?
They're going to argue. They're going to argue against Kathleen Zellner's arguments. They may find some minimal success on some of their arguments. They may find very little success on a great deal of others. But like I said, that's what an evidentiary hearing's about. That's what some people getting into freaking court and talking about all this stuff. That's why it's so important. And the fact that has not happened yet, the fact that is being obstructed at every turn and fought tooth and nail at every turn tells you something.
It certainly does.
That says something about this.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what it says.
They'd be afraid of the evidentiary hearing. They'd be like, okay, yeah, we got this. We're going to walk in and we're going to say this, and that, and we're going to make all of her freaking arguments look ridiculous. Let's do this. But that's not what they're doing. So
I think the technical term to describe the state's evidence, and we'll use the proper legal term here, which you may not have heard of before, but the term is wonky.
Yeah.
That's the official legal term. Apparently, there are two people in this world that love to use the word wonky. They are Eric Ose and Brendan Dassey.
Yeah.
The pair of you. Wonky.
Okay, yeah. I've heard it used before,
Yeah.
Maybe not the most mainstream word, but anyway.
But it actually describes.
When you hear the way it sounds, it's just like it means what it sounds like. Wonky. Yes. It's like, the meaning is the sound of it. That's what I love about that word.
It's off balance. It's off. It's completely off. It's completely haywire. It's going to be interesting to see if they do go to a retrial and they're going to try and argue this. Obviously, one of the worries is, well, where is the jury going to come from? I believe that Kathleen Zellner would try and get it out of certainly away from Manitowoc, wouldn't she?
Right. Thank you, Linda K. By the way, thank you, Linda K. Sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh yeah, no worries. I've got it up in front of me actually, the chat. So I am trying to keep
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it right now, trying to
keep a track on it. Yeah, but
Sorry, go ahead.
Looks a bit quieter for Mark now on his train.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he seems to have a nice comfy
Is he
seat
gonna speak
there.
to us? Is he going to speak to us?
No. But yeah, oh yes, he's got the iron brew ready.
Oh, there you go.
Have you ever tried iron brew?
You can drink on the train?
Well, it's only iron brew.
Yeah. Oh. What was it, like 2.3% alcohol or something?
No alcohol at all.
Oh.
It's you've heard about this. There's only
That's Charlotte,
one
that's Mark down there on the train. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Paul.
There is only one country in the entire world where cola is not the number one soft drink. And you know what that is, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Scotland. And it's iron brew, made in Scotland from Gutters.
That's funny. Let's see. They have nothing to retry him on, right? Because everything. Well, they have stuff to retry him on. I mean, all the previous evidence against Stephen will still be there. It's just, it's just going to be, obviously this time Zellner's going to be coming in there and she's going to have a lot more arguments for against that evidence than Dean and Jerry did. Part of her claims of ineffective assistance of counsel come from that. Essentially that they weren't as diligent to get the experts in to really, discredit the prosecution's theory. But that's what she's done. So she's going to refute this stuff a lot more vigorously than Dean and Jerry were able to do. So that's going to be really I think one of the factors that's going to make a difference in this trial as compared to the last one. Now, I would think that they're going to even probably be on better grounds with the jury now than they were maybe then. I'd say with Netflix coming out, I'd say that there's probably going to be just a few more people in the area who are willing to consider that Stephen might have been framed for this after both seasons of Making a Murder. Obviously not all. In fact, I love the way Tracy Strunsey explained it on my channel recently when she was talking about what it is. She's like, there's a kind of a large pocket of people who think he's guilty. Yeah. There's another pocket of people, maybe not as large as that believe he's, was maybe framed. And then there's a whole big old 90 percentile of the population that couldn't give a crap about it.
Yeah.
Basically have no interest and no knowledge of it and really just don't give a damn. Sure. I mean, you're dealing with some of that. So you got to imagine some of those jurors coming in are going to be part of that 90% that just don't give a damn. But maybe have still heard some things, obviously, because of Making a Murder and because of the media coverage on it and that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting in that sense. But I think with Making a Murder, the prosecution's domination of the media with the press conference and all the things that they did has now been countered by Zellner with Making a Murder and her tweets and all the things. So that has now effectively been balanced out, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the new trial for Stephen.
Yeah. What the point I was really going to make about Schimmel saying that he's been in touch, he had been in touch with the Holbachs to assure them that they would go to trial. I'm reading that as being, well, are the Holbachs wanting the state to do all they possibly can to keep Steve where he is, even after Making a Murderer showed what it showed? Are the Holbachs still wanting to? Are they wanting, in effect, or although the state hide behind the Holbachs, are the Holbachs also partly hiding behind the state? I would imagine that Mike Holbach will not be too happy about his statement. The grieving process could last weeks or months.
Mm-hmm.
I know I go on about this, but here in the UK, one of the worst crimes was the was the Soho murders. And the reason why they managed to catch Ian Huntley was because his girlfriend, Maxine Carr, who was the little girl's school teacher, had said to the press that they were lovely girls. It's going to be a shame that they're not going to be at school when the school restarts. And it was so obvious that she was talking in the past tense. Now, if in a sensible, situation like the case against Ian Huntley, it was actually the press, the TV and radio were there that said, producers of various programs said, why is she talking in the past tense? And that immediately gave the game away. And yet in Wisconsin, we had none of the press jumping on that at all, did we?
Right. No.
None of them saying, "Oh, that's very dodgy." You can't refer to her in the past tense. Also, I know we want to be respectful for the Holbach family, but when you see the videos I've seen about face reading, and body language reading and all that kind of stuff, and then you hear Karen Holbach's phone call to the sheriff's department to report trees are missing. It's very, very dodgy stuff, isn't it?
I don't know.
She doesn't seem that concerned.
She seems concerned to me, I guess.
And it's been pointed out that there's no actual tears. She looks as if she's crying, but there's no actual tears. And there's even a slight bit of a, sometimes when people are lying, they can't help but show a little bit of a grin.
Right. Drooping delight.
Yeah. So I'm just, all I'm saying is I'm just wondering if you think that it could also be that the Holbachs, as well as the state happy to wrap themselves in the Holbachs, as per Susan's, hiding behind the skirt. If it's also if it's a two-way thing, and the Holbachs are quite happy at the moment to hide behind the state because they're protecting them as well from what could be very damaging once we find out the real truth in all of this.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I was reading the comments here.
So. Yeah, sure. I was just wanting your sort of opinion on that.
So say it one more time, just so I can.
Well, just is it the state hiding behind, wrapping themselves in the Holbachs to protect themselves?
Yes.
And is it not also the Holbachs quite happy to sort of stand behind the state and let the state try and keep the case going? Because once we get to the stage where the truth really starts to come out, it's not going to look that good for them.
Well, they could be, right? But I mean, let's think about this. Sure. Really, how practical is that for them? How well is that working out for them? Because the state continues to be getting black eyes. The state continues to be looking like they were running a shady investigation and a shady case. And they continue to be shown to be hiding things. And they continually be shown to be, they may be doing that, thinking, and maybe for a long time that was the easiest way. And then they were able to just have the state take the brunt of everything, and they were able to sit back and not, and therefore they were limited from a lot of the brunt of people's interest in the case, and they were able to kind of carry on with the least amount of notoriety, having the state obviously there to be the shield that catches most of the crap that comes in, right? But at this point, is that advantageous for them when they are starting to see, do they want to be seen as being in league with the state of Wisconsin right now, realizing all these things that are coming out about the investigation into their daughter's death? I'm wondering moving forward if they're going to want to continue to do that, because I just don't see it as being advantageous for them, because the state just continues to be looking more and more shady. I hope they eventually do something to let the state know, look, we're breaking ties. You guys, big boys, you take care of yourself. Quit bringing us up whenever somebody asks you an uncomfortable question. We're just going to go our separate ways. We'll deal with it on our end. You deal with it on your end. That's what I would like to see. Not that I expect them to jump on board and become Avery supporters, but I would like to see at least that.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if Mike Holbach hasn't... to me, it's pretty obvious. He knew that Teresa was dead. when he gave that interview.
He would seem to have, yeah, by his statements.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be on very dodgy ground when we start getting to the truth in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're saying, you know, that maybe Karen wasn't being too false, but as I say, I'm going by experts that have looked at the interviews that she's given, and you know, this supposed crying and supposed Jupiter's delight appearing.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it. And the other thing that was also always very odd, wasn't it, was the fact that Mike Holbach has got an older brother. I think his name is it Timothy Holbach, the older brother, and he's a top lawyer, isn't he?
He was, yes.
So why wasn't he the one giving the interviews?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer. I don't know the interpersonal workings of the Holbach family. So
okay,
a good question. Fair question.
Yeah. Another question is this: that if there was a retrial, should Stephen Avery insist this time that he get up and give evidence?
In other words, take the stand.
Yep.
If he does, then it allows them to bring in every dirty little thing that there is in Stephen's past.
Yeah.
It allows the prosecution to bring all that in. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yep.
But potentially Stephen being on the stand and standing there and being the stubborn son of a bitch that he is, and continuing to pronounce his innocence.
Yeah.
Sure, that could have some weight. That might even outweigh the crap that the prosecution will bring in by him taking the stand.
Yeah.
You know,
and
it's one of those judgment calls.
And next, then, put Brendan Dassey on the stand.
I don't know if you can in Stephen's trial, really.
Hmm?
I don't know.
Well,
they didn't really use any of Brendan. They didn't really use Brendan in his trial, so calling him in would be. I don't know I don't know how that works. That would be a Travis Williamson question there.
Well, all I'll say.
Travis says he can't be on the stand. I don't know if he's referring to Brendan or Stephen.
Okay. So
Mark's quite on a train, folks, and he's on a crowded train, so he can't really kind of take part with us. He's unfortunately so.
So then the next question would be this: that if some people believe that Brendan Dassey is completely innocent and that Steve is guilty, why has Brendan Dassey, and I've heard this from a lot of people say, because I've asked this question, what did Brendan Dassey make of the investigation into Stephen Avery? And Brendan Dassey has consistently said that Steve is innocent.
Yeah.
So if you're a guilty out there and you think that Stephen Avery is guilty and yet Brendan Dassey is innocent, what's going on there? If you can't accept, you surely have to accept that the reason they got to Brendan was to get at Steve.
Right.
But even Brendan Dassey is saying, you know, if you believe in Brendan that he's innocent, then believe in Brendan and believe what he's saying. He's saying that he's never ever thought that Steve was guilty. Why? Because he was with him all that time. Yeah,
but right.
Yeah, you know, this idea that he comes home from school, he goes to letterbox, and he hears this screaming. So what does he do? Oh, I wonder what Uncle Steve's up to. Let's go and find out. If you went to a car, if you got within 100 yards of a caravan and you heard screaming, I don't know that I would be that keen to just knock on the door and say, "Oh, sorry to disturb you and whoever's in there with you, but here's your mail."
Right.
It's just a complete and utter farce.
Well, and then add to that the fact that there's not a hint of this crime taking place in the garage or the trailer. And then you only have 40% of the bones in the fire pit. And I mean, it's just like on and on and on it goes, you know?
Yeah.
It's a shit show and nobody knows. Anyways, but So go ahead. I know you got somewhere to be, Paul. So it's about 40.
Yeah. One more question, and it was to do with the burn barrels. I think you pointed out that in one bit of testimony there was only 3 Dassey burn barrels behind their property.
Claims that they only had 3. That's
so then there's a 4th one appears.
Investigation found 4 Dassey burn barrels.
Where did this 4th one come from?
That's the barrel that suggests the planting. That's the vehicle, most likely for the planting.
And how would there have been little bits of piles of bones that got deposited around this gravel pit area and the deer camp? Would it have been in the transportation?
Maybe while they were carrying a hot barrel, they were dropping it and it was dumping. That's one guess.
Yeah.
But clearly we got Teresa Hallbach's bones all over that quarry.
Yeah.
And
possible human bones, possible deer bones. So.
Check the ledger, buddy. Check the ledger. The ledger says that those bones are only human bones. They know those are human bones. They knew those were human bones. They are liars and charlatans. And so anyway,
yes, I better crack on. And thanks very much for the invite and having a wee chat. And
everybody, make sure you pay attention to Paul's channel here in the next couple of weeks. I have a feeling he's going to be coming up with some fun stuff here, interesting stuff. Obviously he had Mr. Hodnot, who can't talk to us here today, had him pop up on camera with him yesterday in his live video, which was quite a surprise. So
I love the look on Stacy's face.
I loved it when Stacy said, "Oh yeah, now watch this." He was acting like he was going to leave his camera, and he's like, "Now I'm going to come into the room." That was funny. But
okay.
That was great. But anyways, I know you're thinking you're going to be talking to Stacy, some more, and I know there's probably some other mutual friends that you and I have that you'll maybe talking to. So everybody, go over and click the bell on Paul's channel. You might want to get the notifications for some of the fun stuff that may be coming up with him. And we'll cut to Stacy.
Cheers. Bye for now.
There's something going on. Freedom is in danger. Agents of the state, they taking children from the manger. Oh, they will sacrifice your kid. Take Brendan Dassey, that's exactly what they did. They needed someone, oh, Jody wouldn't flip. They looked around, saw him quick. Oh, it made so much sense why. Oh, Brendan Dassey, he was Stephen's alibi. There's something going on in Wisconsin that's not kosher. We better stop, let's all take a look closer. Oh, they will sacrifice your kid for Brendan Dassey. That's exactly what they did. They visit him once, they visit him twice. They make him feel so safe. Sandwiches, soda, so nice. No cameras rolling and under no lights. Who knows what went on up in Fox Hill Monday night? There's something going on, and freedom is in danger. Everything about this can't get in stranger and stranger. Oh, you know they will sacrifice your kid. Oh, Brendan Dassey, that's exactly what they did. March 1st, alone in a room with Bert and Ernie. No parent present and no attorney. 4 hours later, with a touch of the knee, they finally get Brendan to agree. There's something going on. I said there's something going on. Oh, they will sacrifice your kid. Take Brendan Dassey, that's exactly what they did. There's there's something going on. I said freedom is in danger when the agents of the state can take children from the manger. Oh, they will sacrifice your kid. Take Brendan Dassey, that's exactly what they did. Take Brendan Dassey, oh, that's exactly what they did.
Just hang on. That's all you have to do, hang on.
Oh, Mama and Papa Avery, I said this once for you, just letting you know the world can see what they have put you through. Not that we could ever fathom or try to imagine the depth of your pain. But the case was a sham, the trial was a scam. The DA, he's a legal stain. I said, Mama and Papa Avery, we stand with you. No matter what the state says, oh, their lies we see through, because the blood, it was a planet, the car was a planet, Sam William Henry 582. The bones they were planted, the bullet, yeah, planted, the key in the bedroom too. I said, Mama and Papa Avery, we send our love to you, just letting you know we can see what they've done and continue to do. Mama and Papa Avery said this once for you, just letting you know the world can see what they have put you through.
All right, folks, that's it for this morning. I shouldn't say for today, because there's likely to be some other stuff coming out here today after I check on a few things. So anyways, it's been a great Sunday morning. Hope you guys all had fun waking up to Eric Jose, the Aussie, and the Mad Scotsman. Hopefully we've got a lot more exciting stuff for everybody here in the next couple months, things to keep people talking and interested, and that's one of our main goals. So that's what we're looking for here today. So hopefully we'll be seeing you guys later today. That's about it for today. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.